always want to know what's on the other side of that wall.
It's fucking scary. I'm not gonna lie.
First, at the beginning, our interaction with them to some sort of a higher dimensional place. Are we alone, and what happens when we die?
And now for something completely muonic.
I got you. You got me. Zappity zap.
We got zapped.
So the feedback we're already getting on the live stream is that the music is streaming simultaneously as you have been talking.
Oh, so I was talking the entire time, and there was just music behind me the
music
entire
was
fucking
repeating.
time. Holy shit, this is hard. Holy shit, this is hard. We could we should just redo the whole thing.
we may need to do it when the music stops. I want to get some really good comms and good positive feedback that the music has stopped. We've gone into actual voice mode now.
Insane.
So if you're a Bert, drop it in the TG. Can you hear us now? Is the music still going? It's vibing music. I mean, I'm vibing over here.
I've got a chat up here. I've got Telegram here. I've got Jake over here. I've got the stream here. This is... So, I mean, just so we all know, this is the first time that I've ever streamed in my life. So this is, I mean, there was bound to be a total chaos fest. Meyer, tell him to read our live stream chat. and then there's like a 20-second delay too. So okay, so Jake, just to make sure you're not hearing any slap, no nothing now, because I muted the stream on my end.
Yeah, we're good. And I muted the stream on my side, so we shouldn't be getting the audio feedback regurgitated in each other's output. So, nope, we're good. I got you loud and clear, and nice. I think we cleared it up. I think we're good.
Nice. Okay, cool. So welcome to Space from the Deep, episode
so
25, everybody. We made it. We made it through one of the craziest fucking introductions I think that we could ever experience. The task today was to listen to 17 different audio sources at the same time. See how good you are at multitasking in the psychoacoustic sensory aspect of life. That was crazy. Well, I worked really hard on this open and all this cool shit, and I was like really excited. You know what it is? When you kind of not overcomplicate, but when you almost over-prepare something, it's like the universe is like, I know that you prepared for this, and I know that like you really want this to go perfectly. But it's not going to go perfect. and the challenge, the lesson baked into this is, how are you going to deal with it? And if you don't deal with it, then we're going to do it to you again. So I think that Space from the Deep episode 26 is going to be smooth sailing because we got this one out of the way. But I also think that, yes, Addie, I just saw your comment. I'm very happy. I'm happy that there's actually a stream reaching the internet and that you can see a video of me on it. And you can see, obviously, Jake is, he's going full HB behind the Bert mode today. And then, obviously, as I mentioned before, which you may not have heard, Rain is stuck in traffic this morning. So that was probably drowned out by music earlier on. But, yes, I'm happy that finally you're hearing what I'm saying. You're hearing me talk, and we're on stream officially for Space from the Deep. What a way to kick it off.
What a way. So you're telling me that Ebert also knows Murphy from the Cosmos, from Murphy's Law?
They must be friends. They must be friends. They've got to be buddies.
I think Pebblestein has something to do with it. Pebblestein's involved somewhere in all this.
I see you, Des. Des is just, what a gem. I don't know if you saw this morning. Des was outside. I think he said he was outside the Lincoln Cathedral, and he sent a picture into the Telegram this morning. It was him, like, swagged out. He had, like a sick fit on. He had like his rings. He had a cigar in his mouth. He's like, like a fitted. I was like, let's go. It's so sick. Just like, sharing parts of your life into the ECU and like showing us what you're up to. He's getting a head start on IRL Saturdays, thanks to HG, starting that tradition off. But it's just really cool to see that. And he's always a valued weekly guest because he's just always trying to tune in as much as he can. So yeah, it's been an interesting morning. Yes, I do look very happy. I keep saying I look happy in the chat. The chat is like, it's like 20 seconds behind, right? So I think that there's a little bit of a delay. You hear me, Jake?
Yeah, I got you, buddy. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I don't think there's too much of a delay in the chat. I'm keeping up with it as well. Yeah,
All right.
you're looking. I like Nerdy's comment. You're looking jacked.
You have to. This is the same shirt I was wearing yesterday, by the way. Jake knows this. I didn't fucking.
And by the way, you know it's hilarious. I mean, Bert, you can't see me, but Eric can, and I'm wearing the same one as well.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's
I'm
where
gonna-
we're at in life.
At one point, I'm gonna send a. So I mean, like this. It's been a really interesting couple weeks. So like we've obviously been like in full preparation for this show and trying to like get everything set up and make the graphics and do. You're seeing a lot of. What this last week and a half really looked like. It's just creating all the lower thirds and making it try to feel like a real show. The second part of like making all the content is actually being able to deliver it to you, the audience. That's that's the other 50%, and making sure that the work that we've done reaches the audience and reaches the community in as smooth and seamless a way as possible. So we've got, I think, about 50% of the way there. But the room that I'm in right now is just it's my office, but there's a green screen back here. There's all gear over here. So I think that one of these days I'll have to do an updated, maybe war room setup shot that I can share in for IRL Saturdays, because it is quite busy in here. But no, it's cool to see that the chat is working. Things are working. Thank you, Meyer. Thank you, Meyer. And then we've got the fun little logos up there. The sad part is that Jake isn't seeing unless he's on stream, so you're seeing the delay. But without further ado, do you want to jump over to the Birdathon today and maybe start the convo of the day?
Oh wow, okay, we're doing this. We're going to jump over into dreams. We're going to weave the dreams.
We could settle in a little bit more if you want to. I'm totally down.
I like weaving in dreams.
Yeah.
We can weave in some dreams.
I'm down to settle in.
Take it easy through this.
The only thing is
Go ahead.
I was going to say the only thing is that I may have to manually bring the post back up because something got like resynced. So if we jump over and there's no post, then I would have to just kind of pull it up. But most people in the call, most people who are on the show and tuning in right now, were part of the Birdathon this morning. So you saw what our Birdathon was. So let me just jump over and try to pull it up. Okay, so so let's see. Oh, there it is. Okay, so I'm reacting to it before everyone else is. So you're about to see in 10 seconds what it was actually showing, and then here's our Birdathon for the day. So I'm going to read it out. Jake, you had a couple really interesting answers earlier on, but I wanted to dig into this a little bit. So the Birdathon for today was, what are dreams? The ever-elusive images that fragment themselves into our conscious states have forever confused, inspired, and fundamentally changed who we are. But where do they come from? Are they transmissions from another version of ourselves? Have we lived these experiences already? Or will we in the future? Drop your best theory of what dreams really are into our Telegram. Extra points for referencing any depictions made in movies. So that was our Birdathon for the day. And I think, interestingly enough, there was a bit of an entanglement story that Jake shared this morning with me that I thought was pretty wild. And it had to do exactly with the subject that we're talking about this morning, which I think is just so crazy. So tell the people what happened. I think that's just, it's so appropriate too, that like this is the first episode that we're doing live. We've never done a Birdathon about dreams before. I think that we've always all wondered what they really are, especially if you have really vivid dreams. But I've also heard of people kind of experiencing things in real life, that they've experienced in dreams. So like, what happened with you last night to kind of maybe set the stage for some of these theories?
Wow, I mean, just to start with, the genesis of this bat, it's entirely synchronic to me on how it's unfolding. Because you're right, it is our first live stream. And we've been around for nearly a year. Like, we just hit our 10-month anniversary, I think, lately. And not, to my knowledge, not once have we had a Birdathon or a very deep dive into the concept and the realities of dreams. Not once. And we talk about consciousness on this show, right? So like, whoa. Like, so there's there's a sense of Chronos and Kairos that's really operating in a way here. And then to really preface the bat last night, Bert's, and in full transparency, Eric did not disclose the bat to me in advance. Sometimes we'll chat about it, sometimes we won't. We just have things to do, but we didn't chat about it whatsoever beforehand. And so last night, as I was sleeping, I actually had a hellish nightmare, a couple of them actually. And we can chat about that, if we want. But what happened in this nightmare is I woke up from it. I went back into a dream and was dreaming that we would be talking about dreams on Space from the Deep today with no insight, no, verbal communications beforehand. There was not even a seed planted in my psyche that would have influenced that from yesterday. Yesterday, we weren't even talking about dreams. We were talking about trying to figure this out, right? The live stream and technicalities and what we're doing. And dreams were not even a part of this entire paradigm of discussion. So out of completely nowhere, I had a dream that we would be invoking the subject of dreams in our first live stream together. And now that says a lot of things. It speaks a lot of things. And Bert, I bet that you have had a similar dream like that, where you've dreamed something and the next day you've experienced it. You've lived it without any precursor, without any warning. You've been influenced by, some type of primordial consciousness in your psyche or some other realm, which we'll talk about, and it influenced the actions of your day. Does it get more trippy than that? I don't know. Maybe not. Is it lucid? Yeah, it was. I could see it. Have you ever had dreams where you could feel yourself being touched, haptic responses, all neuro responses, all cognition, right? One of those dreams. We've all experienced them. And what are these, right? We know them. So I love the concept of discussing them, bringing them here. And we are at the apex of neuroscience, of philosophy, of consciousness, of what is and who we are. And dreams have a very unique way of overlapping all of these fields that define these big questions in life, to include what we talked about on last episode, Space from the Deep. Eric, you said it beautifully. The two great questions, quite simplistically, is what else is out there and what happens after we die? Dreams also overlap there.
Yeah.
Right?
It flows in.
That's what happened last night. That's what set the stage. And bam, here we are. So I saw the bat this morning and it was the immediate chills. I mean, I woke up in the morning, getting my family ready for the day, and I see the Birdathon post and immediate chills of, oh my God, we're talking about dreams. Are you kidding me? Of course we are. Of course we are. Thanks, Ebert. Was it Ebert? Did Ebert know?
We've done I like, I don't know, how many Birdathons at this point? 40? We've done so many.
Yeah.
So it's like, how many weeks of Birdathons have we done? And of all of them, the one time that I decide to actually, make the subject about something we've never actually talked about, it somehow finds its way into Jake's unconscious state. And it's really, really fascinating to me. And it makes me wonder, okay, was it like an alternate timeline where we were actually talking about what the Birdathon would be that he like kind of dipped into, like transited into while he was unconscious? Like, you just don't know. I think that we saw, like, Addie shared like maybe 15 theories in here. We saw a lot of really cool theories. A lot of the theories seem to kind of revolve around the fact that what dreams are kind of this, either this thing that has already happened or kind of this like a multiverse type of an experience, something that we've already experienced in another life or something that we've already experienced in the future or in the past. And it's kind of like our consciousness is like reliving them or like just getting flash memories of them in our mind when we're asleep. And I guess one of the really cool theories, and I'm trying to find it in Telegram right now, was about, I think it was either from Emily or I forget who it was from, but maybe it was from Prince. He's talking about the idea that, or really the definition of what it means to be awake. And obviously the human definition of being awake within three-dimensional space is like us walking around with our eyes open and experiencing our surroundings. But if that definition is kind of not misguided, but I think bound to what humans have decided for ourselves, what if the real, the real definition of awake really is like when we're sleeping, like when our consciousness is maybe freed of the confines of the vessel that we've been given to live in, and it can kind of like traverse throughout, whether it's a multiverse or whether it's like oneness or whether it's source, whether we're going towards like a source or something that is kind of flashing images of our entire consciousness's experience throughout multiple time frames and multiple timelines, multiple different universes, all these things that are kind of coming to us. Because for me, there's a part of me that thinks even the absurdities of certain dreams, just because it's absurd to you now, right? Like the way that you processes it, just because it's absurd to you now may not necessarily be absurd in another life somewhere else. Like if it's somewhere else, like that absurdity could be like actually grounded reality for where that is. So it's kind of like just because it feels crazy, like you jumped off a cliff and you were flying and then all of a sudden you were like, flying across the globe and doing crazy things. Like what if that is possible somewhere else? We're just not conditioned to believe that. So just that, I thought that was a really interesting theory as well. Like, what if when you're asleep, you're actually alive, and when you're alive, you're actually asleep, or awake, you're actually asleep. That was a cool mind. But I think like the concepts that I tend to be drawn to are the ones that start to kind of bend my way of thinking. I'll read things and I'll be like, okay, yeah, like I've definitely heard that before, and then like someone drops something and it's like, huh. And like Des has done that a lot. Like a lot of the stuff that Des has dropped in here has really made me take a step back and be like, damn, that's so interesting. Like, that's so interesting to think about. And I think one of the beautiful things about doing these birdathons is I think that those moments become more consistent. And I think that week to week, there's like submissions where you're like, wow, like that's a really interesting way to think about it. Really interesting way to think. I've never thought about it that way before. And like Addy was even saying in our chat, he was like, I have to submit this for a grade because he's in school. So he's like, he's probably having a lot of those, okay, I'm going to take a step back moments. And, his submission to whatever he's getting graded for is probably going to be that much more impactful. So it's, I think it's all really fascinating stuff. There are no wrong answers either, because I don't know. And we don't know. Jake doesn't know. It's like, this is all just a guess, which I think is totally fine. I think it's actually important to guess. It's important to talk about these things, right?
Well, the more you guess, or the more that you give it color, right? The more you give us a subject such as dreams or consciousness or the nature of the cosmos and our existence, what came before creation, what is a priori, right? All of these questions, the more color I feel that you give it, the closer you are to experiencing it. But maybe none of them are meant to be understood in this incarnation of life. Mm-hmm. So, when someone says we understand absolutely everything about dreams and this is exactly how they are and I'm going to interpret it and this is, binary, you couldn't be further off from what is actually happening. Yeah. So experience them, right? And some dreams, people have experienced this. I have experienced this. I've shared this story. I'd love to ask you, Eric, if you experienced this. Have you had a dream that reached out and touched you? And when you woke up in this world, in this life, that dream was a part of you somehow. Like, that's happened to me. And it freaked me out. I was not prepared for it. I did not believe in any of this. I was just ready to get on about my day. Again, I was in engineering land heavy. So my whole job was really to debunk a lot of this stuff, especially when I was in the neuroscience world. Because we were studying dreams for a little bit. I didn't research, a lot of my program in dreams, but my colleagues, that was their entire focus area. And they were able to start recording snapshots and studying dreams. And it was wild to see a dream that was sketched out, from technology that was being used to scan a brain during REM. And when we go to sleep, it's oscillations of the brain, what we know of today, which could change, which it probably should. But the acronym is DTAB-G, delta, theta, alpha, beta, gamma. And so when we start going into low alpha to beta and gamma waves, which are slower and very longer oscillations between, more or less all of your synapses, but primarily in the hypothalamus to the amygdala region, that's when we experience these lucid states of dreams. And so if you know that, you can target where to scan in the brain. And it was wild to see, absolutely nuts to see. You're welcome to research him. His name is Dr. Moran Cerf. He was out of Northwestern University in Chicago. And he was able to successfully snapshot a dream, show it to someone and say, did you actually dream about this barn? It was a black and white barn in a field setting. And it wasn't aliens on this particular dream. It was a barn. Her standing in a meadow in a field, and she started crying. That was her dream. And she didn't know. She didn't know why I was standing in the field with a barn. Like maybe it wasn't for her. Also, at the same time, maybe there are subtleties that are. Yeah, if you've ever done dream work in a journal before, which I enjoy sometimes, I would say to do it for 3 to 6 months at least. Write down the basis of your dream. And this is not new stuff, right? We've all heard kind of something around this. Write down the basis of your dream. After about 3 to 6 months, can you find the pattern? And that's Carl Jung's work, right, of the archetypes and the psyche of the subconscious self talking to you and what's governing you at that certain point of time. But yeah, I mean, like it's delicate, it's intricate, it's integral, and yet it's omnipotent.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that it's specific and individualized to who is actually being the dreamer? Like for me, like I feel like my dreams have transformed a lot over the course of my life. Like when I was a young kid, like I was a super kind of creative, eclectic kid. I like was out all the time in the woods, like kind of acting out video games, like using my imagination, like a lot of fantasy type stuff. And my dreams were like pretty fantastical at the time. I definitely, there are a couple dreams also that have really stuck with me. One of them was kind of like a nightmare, but it was like a falling dream. I was falling towards this, really what feels like where I live right now. And oh, look, there's rain. What's up? He's in.
What up?
He's in. All right, hold on. I'll see if I can get your video. Yeah, no, I think you should be good. Let me see.
Do I need to do the VOD Ninja?
No, you're just going through Google.
No, just stay here. Yeah,
you're going through Google.
Just stay here.
Yeah.
You're all good. Yeah, no,
Dude,
you
what a fucking day.
I'll continue my story later. I want to hear. How you doing? You okay?
Oh, yeah, I'm alive. I'm home. Bro, like, wife sent me out to a shit ton of errands today. All good, right? Whatever. And, like, when you got a haircut at, like, 9 a.m., I was going to be back by, like, 11 a.m. In the middle of my way back from my haircut, this just fucking... And mind you, it's only, like, the barber's 15 minutes from my house. It took me an hour, 45 minutes to get home because I thought the world might fucking end. This thunderstorm came in and was just electrocuting and fucking hitting fucking street lights and shit. And sparks were flying everywhere and shit all over there. It looked like Zeus was fucking raining down lightning bolts, bro. It was fucking crazy. And then the fucking, this big ass fucking stoplight, or what's that shit? The traffic lights, like just spark and fucking come fucking down in the ground, and fucking fire starts coming up, and then can't drive around it, and the cops all come, and they basically lock us all in this fucking thing. Then the ambulance comes, and the fire trucks comes and shit, and they're like, since it's electricity and a power down line, and the ground is wet and everything too, we can't risk anybody. Do not get out of your car. Don't try to go around. Don't try to just fucking stay here till we clean it all up. Yeah, I basically just had to sit there for like fucking an hour and 45 or hour 40 minutes for them to do it. Finally, they got it. They made like a little cone path around it, which they could have done in like the first 5 minutes. But yeah, I'm fucking home. But thought I might die. But I also thought I was like in a fucking Ebert skit. You know, I was like, oh shit, big stream. He's gonna muonically zap some shit.
You were.
He did.
You were literally about to get zapped.
Dude,
Dude,
yeah,
that's
literally,
chaos.
bro. Fucking literally.
That's chaos. No, Ebert zapped the fuck out of things this morning. He basically he had the audio from the stream looping back into the stream because I'm basically using a loop back to like grab audio and pipe it into the Streamlabs software. So it was like I was talking and doing an introduction, and there are people in the chat. There's like a little delay over there. So they were like, basically everything that you're saying is completely drowned out by music for like a good minute. And I mean, we'll talk, but I feel like the like the tech. I was telling Jake, I had like this grand plan, right? Like I had everything lined up, and I had all these things that I prepared, and I wanted to be perfect, and I have it all written out here. It's like, okay, here's what the show format is, and I think because of that, like that, not over preparation, but just kind of like assuming that it would go exactly the way that I imagined it to go. Ebert, or the universe, was basically like, let's just make this a little tougher for you today. Let's just make this a little tougher for you today. And it was kind of like really this morning, it was like one thing after the next. It was like, okay, well, this isn't working, so this isn't working. Oh, wait, Rain's not going to be here yet. Okay, wait, we're just going to figure that out. And then it was like this kind of, it was a comedy of errors. And I think that, it's space from the deep. I get zapped all the time. I get zapped every day. But I think the most important thing is that if I had freaked out and probably gotten all mad, it probably would happen next week too. Same shit. It'd be like,
hey, you didn't learn his lesson.
You didn't learn your lesson. Let's make it harder this time. Let's make it worse. Let's actually make it more difficult for it. Like, to get to a point where like nothing is working, right? We're just going to completely cut you off. So I'm happy that you're okay. That sounds really chaotic. But I think that for this first week, just getting up to stream is a fucking win.
Win. Hell
it's a win.
Man.
It's a win. And I think like next week when we hit Space in the Deep episode 26, we're learning every single week. And I think that even with the audio only episodes, we were learning every single week. And we started to get to a nice flow. We were like, okay, this is great. We got this format. This is feeling good. And then, okay, let's shake it up a little bit. We got to add friction into your life in order to help you evolve and move forward. But happy to have you here, Rain. You're an absolute legend. I'm glad that you're okay, and happy Good Friday. So, yeah.
Praise be. Good Friday, baby.
Praise be.
Come on.
Wait, so are you Catholic? Did you do Ash Wednesday?
Yep.
Okay, so you did.
I had it. Yeah, I'm Catholic. No, I mean, that's why, like, it was Good Friday and all that shit started happening. I was like, damn, maybe this is it. Maybe is this fucking, Revelations? Is I didn't get zapped to heaven though. So am I fucked? What's happening here?
There's some crazy.
What's going on?
Yeah.
There's some crazy energy in the world right now.
That's a great topic, even with this concept of dreams, is revelations.
Mm-hmm.
I have a theory about. I have a couple theories about revelations. Was it written from a dream state? And by the way, Rain, we're talking about dreams in terms of our birdathon today. Which is huge. So, if you want to jump into TG, I know you've been out this morning, I don't know, avoiding freaking lightning bolts coming down. But now that you're safe and Pebblestein's not trying to devour you from the cosmos with Zeus's fury, you can check out our birdathon. It's also on the live stream. You can read it there. But the birdathon today was about what is the nature of dreams, and share your experiences with dreams. Like they can reach out and touch you. You can experience and overlap the cosmos, the infinite, God's everything to yourself. So it's interesting you bring up Revelations today. Like, I have some theories about that book and many other books from religious texts, even the Bhagavad Gita, for another one. So
wow.
It's just interesting. Is one of them was Revelations potentially wrote from a position of someone experiencing the infinite on psychedelics, because it reads very well if it was. I mean, it's extremely colorful, it's extremely brutal, extremely dark, and extremely heavenly. There's many books in the Bible that have that. Or was it written from a place of dreams? Where dreams can reach out and touch you, because you could see that being a dream. I mean, Revelation's is scary as shit, right? You have what are when the four horsemen come, I believe, and I'm going to misquote this. I've read the Bible plenty of times years ago. And is it a locust, or is it like a little flying scorpion that has a head like a face of a human, but it can sting the shit out of you? Like, it's these little demon things that come out of nowhere from the bottomless pit, and you're like, what the is this?
they're technically imps is what they call them, but they're like these evil fucking mini scorpion demons, bees, wasps, whatever the hell you want to call them. It's
with
fucked
human
up.
faces.
With human faces. It's fucked up. It's
kind of sounds like the elves.
They were like angels. Oh, the elves,
kind of sounds like the DMT elves.
You know what's so funny too is like You guys, I'm a very imaginative guy, okay? Like my imagination goes everywhere. And I love that you brought this up real quick too, Jake. Is like, first off, I didn't even know we were live right now. I'm not gonna lie. So I opened the disc or the Telegram.
You're live.
And everybody's like, woohoo, this is awesome, right? And I'm like, what the fuck? Are we live? And I thought because Eric was saying all that shit about, I was like, oh, we're not even live, we're just shooting the shit. All right, cool. But no, we're live. Awesome. So yeah, man. Really fucked up situation here. Okay. And I'm just gonna put this out there real quick. Oh, great, goes to film. Okay. Jake, Eric, fuck. I have to call you Eric now instead of Bert.
You could. I mean, you can still call me Bert. This is up to you. This is your choice.
No, the stream says Eric. I got to be on brand. Eric the GOAT. Eric Overtone. Follow him on X, folks. Have you guys seen the movie This Is the End?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not.
Oh, it's a very comical approach. Yeah, to like Revelations, but it's got like everybody in it, man. It's got like Jonah Hill, Michael Cera, Seth Rogen, fucking Kevin Hart. Who's the really funny black guy, man? That's a great singer and pianist. Let me take your panties off. Craig Robinson. That's what it is. That guy. But okay, I'm coming back. I yield. Let me come back to it. It's gonna make sense here. So, like in the Bible, obviously, like one of the ultimate sins is, at least in Catholicism, is, you know, if you kill yourself, right? If you kill yourself, basically it means that you don't have faith in God's will, and there's a whole lot of shit that goes into it. But yeah, you're like damned to hell if you kill yourself. And so, again, I'm a very imaginative thinker, and so like I'm thinking, fuck, is this today? I'm like, is this Revelations? And I know all the shit that happens in Revelations, and I'm like, well, if I'm not beamed to heaven, I'm going to hell. I might as well just kill myself and go to fucking hell anyways. You know, get it over with. But then I'm kind of thinking, I'm too like, all right, Rain, you're getting a little too wild here. But then I'm also kind of like, well, hold on. I don't know the qualifications specifically, but in the movie This Is the End, you know, he redeems himself and is able to get beamed up to heaven like 2 months in to the apocalypse. So I'm like, okay, maybe I shouldn't. But so basically, long story short, I don't know where I'm going, but yeah, that shit is fucking terrifying. And there's a lot of, hopefully it never happens. I'll just say that. It's as a Catholic, I expect it to happen, but I hope it doesn't happen and I'm wrong. That's what I hope.
There's so much power in that of a story, right? There's so much power that's fueled into it. And I guess there's a couple things to share here. One, cinema in a way saved you from your mind attracting so much depth to that story, giving it a value and a meaning, that you were able to breathe your way out of it and maneuver around these damn lightning bolts from Zeus flying around you. So yeah, like man. you know, cinema was a way out. So my curiosity then goes into, what's Ebert going to inspire for others in curiosity when cinema hits the film for him, when people are going through a tough time and lightning bolts, like literal or figuratively in their life. You know, it's one of my, I guess, precursors of thought. But yeah, the depth of a story is powerful. The same with dreams. You know, if we were to believe every single dream we've had as the virtuosity of a higher truth, it would be chaos. I imagine it would be chaos. Shit, I had a nightmare last night. I mean, a hellish nightmare. No. And if I woke up believing that this nightmare was life, like, what would be the point? It would be hellish. Like, it's literal hell on earth from, you know, any theological representation. So we can believe that, or we can take something good in it, like the friction, right? Eric, you were mentioning earlier, like, man, there's friction here. If I'm just going to get mad and dig my heels in and say, F all of this sucks, it's going to be much harder for you on the next one.
Yeah.
And man, I've heard something so good, and I'll give it over to you, Eric, is, I don't know if you know the comedian Cliff Cash. He's making some rounds right now, and he's really helping me out. He's helping me out in a big way.
Great guy.
He's amazing at what he does. And his latest stand-up tour, he mentioned that he went through a hellish hard time. You can watch it. He lost everything in like 16 months. His family, his home, his businesses, all of it just collapsed. His father died. I mean, just all in 16 months, right? Just a lot of traumatic processing to do in that short amount of time. And he's like, you know, there's really 4 stages. Yeah, people wiser than me have said it better, and it's not me that's just saying it. It's just like my journey that I don't know how I went through it is you want to be joyful in the moment because now is all you have. This is it, right? We don't have tomorrow. We don't have yesterday. We have right now. Rain, me, you, Eric. This is it. This is joy. No lightning bolts are flying around me or you right now, hopefully. So, right?
Hell yeah.
And when you're not in joy, can you get into a place where you can change it? Right? Can you change when you're not in joy? So if something is disturbing you in this precise moment, can you change it? And if you can't change it, can you at least accept it? And if you can't accept it, even when you cannot change it and you're not in joy, you know what the fourth stage is? Suffering.
Yeah.
It's like you will be in suffering for as long as you need to be to learn that lesson. And that stuck with me, even with dreams, you know? So if we were to believe that as a dream, believe that the rapture was happening, believe Revelations was unfolding or Armageddon, and you can't change it, well, yeah, you're going to be in suffering. Can you find your joy again? Right. Yep. And the power will of the human being has a way to organically navigate out of the dream world to find that joy. So I don't know, Eric, how's all this feeling for you? Like, where are you at in all of this?
It's really interesting. I was saying, so right before you joined in, Rain, I was saying that dreams in general, I think kind of, for me personally, have changed over the course of my life. And I think what they've ended up doing a lot of is kind of forcing me to reconcile with things that I have to reconcile with, facing the shit that I need to face. A lot of that is like maybe generational karma, like shit from my past or stuff that I feel like that's always in the back of my head, that like the dream is kind of just pulling up to the surface and saying like, hey, like you got to go talk to your dad, or like, hey, like you got to go do this, or hey, it's like kind of like these weird reminders that tend to like come up, but in like obscure ways. Like it's still a dream, right? So it's still like kind of, it's obscure and it's not necessarily grounded in our reality, but it still is saying what it needs to say. And I think that what it's kind of doing, and to kind of tie it in with the whole friction thing, it's like an invitation to invite friction into your life in order to evolve. It's like, for me, like they've become these lessons and these kind of these pointers to say, hey, if you want to do this, you can, and you'll be better for it. And then if I do that and I'm better for it, it's like, cool, okay, so here's some more friction if you want to continue to evolve and you want to continue to grow. Like it really, like growth, evolution, success, like so much of it is on the other side of friction. Like you have to invite hard shit into your life. If you don't, it's like you're just going to stay comfortable and stay kind of, stay complacent. We all know that. I think that dreams for me have definitely become like an echo of the things I tend to think about a lot. Things that are on my mind, things that are in my head, whether it's a personal thing, whether it's something about work, career, Ebert, like everything. It tends to kind of get packaged up in really unique ways and get delivered to me in like a split second in a dream. And then I kind of have to unwrap it. Like more often than not, like I try and meditate every day. I'm trying to be a lot better about it. But I've also tried to take shit away from my meditations. So like I used to do what is it called? Headspace. I used to do all the apps. I used to do like I used to like listen to music while I meditated. I used to like try to like add in all this external stimulus. But now, like what tends to happen is if I dream about something weird, I try and sit with it. And I'm like, fuck, okay, like I'm going to sit with this for like 20 minutes. I'm just going to try to focus on my breath. And more often than not, the lesson that was being delivered to me is way, way more clear when I just like sit with it. And I think that that's a version of Jake was saying, like dream journals, like writing your shit down, like when you wake up and trying to get it all down for like 3 to 6 months. This I feel like is like a similar approach, like trying to almost process it within 3D is like, I don't know. I think it's important because I think that more often than not, the dreams are a way, whether it's yourself communicating to you, whether it's something else communicating to you, whether it's a version of yourself from another existence, like you don't really know. But what you do know is that there may be something in there that's valuable for you to process. Like there's something in there that's really valuable for you to process. And yeah, like usually it involves friction. Usually it involves hard shit. And I used to be a lot worse at handling hard shit than I am now. Like a lot worse. And I think that like way back in the day, for example, like we had some issues with the show today, right? Like just getting going and figuring, like Rain knows, it's like my first time ever streaming. So it's new. There's a lot of new for me.
You're doing great.
Oh,
You're
thank
doing
you.
great.
Than't you. Much appreciated.
But 99% of people would have gave up. I'm telling you that right now.
Oh, by far.
They would've said,
by
"Fuck it."
far.
Fuck it,
Yeah.
I'm done. Fuck it, I'm done. I've seen it
You
so
should
many
have seen him
times.
yesterday, Raid. You should have seen him yesterday.
Oh, was it
Yeah.
close? Was it close?
I like this.
I'm proud
Can't
of
hold.
you.
I couldn't barely hold on to the desk. No, it's a lot. Like it's definitely a lot of shit to get used to. But I also think that like in so much of my professional life, like dealing with like troubleshooting or like just dealing with problems have been a big part of that.
Yeah.
And I think like, you know, I've definitely had dreams about like what this show would feel like or be like. And like, it's completely different than what the dream was, but it's also like, it is what it's supposed to be. And like, it's us just trying to be present with where we are, like moment to moment. Like I feel there was a guy, Naval Ravikant. Naval, I think his name is Naval. I forget what his name is. Really fascinating guy. He was on Chris Williamson's podcast recently called Modern Wisdom, and he started talking about just time and moments passing as being kind of this finite resource that we have, and that every single moment that passes is gone. You're not getting it back. That's it. And the way that he put it and the way that he articulated it really landed. I was like, shit, like it's a good reminder. Like we know this already. You know, and we've thought about like, well, you know, time is what it is. You're never going to get it back, or you're always going to look back. And, you know, but really when someone kind of reminds you in a really poignant way, it's like, shit, that does make me think. That makes me think, you know? So my dreams, am I communicating to myself? Am I trying to tell myself to be more present with my family, or be more present with myself, or appreciate myself more, or, you know, work harder in this aspect of my life, or pursue this passion in this aspect of my life? You know, and if I am, I need to fucking listen. I need to listen. And I think that dreams, we saw so many different ideas about what dreams are today. And I think everyone is kind of, you know, revolving around similar concepts, like what we're talking about, kind of these echoes of ourselves just appearing and kind of coming in to communicate with us in one way or another. And I think that we all know, but we don't need to know. And I think that that's one of the cool things about these ineffable aspects of life. There's a lot of it that you just kind of have to relinquish control over knowing the exact answer of. Human beings just want the knowledge. We want all the information. This kind of materialistic approach to like needing to like know what the answers are. But some things I think maybe we're just not supposed to know. Maybe it's just a part of what makes human beings, and it's just kind of it's part of the ride. It's part of the experience. It's part of the movie, and it's just something that we can process and think through and navigate, and then beyond that just relinquish, just say like, and that's that, you know, like that really violent dream you had last night, Jake, was interesting. But what I think the cool part about it is you were able to parse through it and pull something out that was really fascinating. He had a dream last night about the fact that our birdathon was going to be about dreams today, and we never talked about it. Didn't mention it once. We've done over 40 birdathons. Over 40.
That's
We've never
crazy.
talked about dreams. And he dreamed about us talking about
Super
dreams
trippy.
today. So what's that all about?
He's Burton. He's aligned in Burton. That's what he is. He's Burton.
I mean, but
Burton.
have you had that, Rain? I mean, I'm sure you've had your own experience where have you had a dream before, and the next day or the next days after that, you've experienced what you were dreaming, or a thought that happened in your dream? Have you ever had that experience?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Many times. And it's actually
See?
it's actually super. This is gonna sound a little weird. I don't
Those are
know
the
if you
best
call
type
it
of stories.
alchemy. I don't know if you call it manifestation. I don't know what you call it. But you know, in my belief system, you know, I believe that in order to receive, right, abundance and blessings, whatever you want to call it, right? But just in order for good shit to happen to you, you got to be grateful for the shit that you have. And you really got to embody that feeling and just meditate or whatever. Just before you go to bed, close your eyes or in the shower, just sit there, you know, with your eyes closed and just rally off. This is what I do. I just rally off everything that I'm grateful to. So I do mine in like a form of a prayer, man. So right, I pray. I'll give you an example, man. I'll be like, you know, like, dear God, thank you so much. I'm so happy to be alive. I'm so happy to be, in the situation that I'm in. I'm so grateful for my health, my family's health. I love this beautiful woman you've put in my life, my soon-to-be wife. I love my brother, my mom, this amazing house we have and our cat, and just, the ability to, own my own company and to live my best life and spread love to people all around me, and continue to, embody, a good soul, and push that out to others as well in whatever way seems fit. And then after I just rattle this shit off, I rattle off everything I'm grateful for. And then I say, what I'm looking for, right? The universe, God, whatever it is, I'll say it doesn't know if you don't tell it, man. You got to tell it. So I'll be like, every time I'll be like, I'll say this lately, and I don't even worry. I do very well, guys. I have money. I don't want anything. I'm broke here, but I am paying for like an $80,000 fucking wedding. Okay, like it's a bit expensive. It's a bit expensive, no matter who you are. So
It's gonna be a fucking party.
Oh, dude, you're totally invited too. By the way, guys, if you guys, I'll send you the address. You can just show up. Whatever, it doesn't matter. But yeah, so I tell God, I'm like, all right, I'm like, I'm willing and ready to receive more opportunities of abundance, more opportunities of financial freedom, more opportunities to be able to relax and express my love for my significant other, and more opportunities to continue to make as much money as possible, to give back to people, who may or may not be in the best spot, but to overall continue to live my best life and help others live their best life. And I kid you, and I don't do this. I don't ask every night. I only ask like once a month, which I thought about doing every night. But, the human mind, I'm like, fuck, dude. Like, if I'm God, like, damn, this guy just keeps asking me for shit every day. Fuck, like, damn, dude, like, take a fucking break. That's just the human mind in me.
Look at this needy.
Yeah,
bird.
right. You're right. And so I'm like, I try to keep it a once a month, but every time I do it, man, every time, I get a crazy opportunity, crazy business opportunity out of the fucking blue. And like an example was, I just did this yesterday because, like, obviously the market's been a little up, down, all around. And y'all know me, I refuse to sell anything I ever have. I only accumulate. And, I had one of my clients who'd done such a good job. They made a formal offer to my company for our company to become their sister company, where, basically we're going to absorb like 4 or 5 more of their clients, which is, I mean, you can use your imagination there. That's pretty fucking good business. All right. That's pretty good business. So yeah, I don't know if that falls directly in line, Jake, but
I think it does.
I don't know what else to go with that.
I think it does.
I think
it does.
I think what's interesting.
Oh,
sorry. Go ahead, Jake.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead first. Sorry.
I was gonna say.
No, you go ahead.
No, you. I think that one of the really interesting parts about communicating with him, they, whatever it is when you communicate without the expectation of immediately receiving something. You're just giving thanks. Like, it seems like you can't fake it. And I think that a lot of times people that I've met in my life, it seems like they have this thought that, well, if I pray and I just ask for what I want, and I know that by praying and asking for what I want, I'm probably gonna get what I want. They're usually like, it usually doesn't work because it's like they go in with this expectation that the designer or whoever has that type of power to kind of set your trajectory toward that thing isn't just gonna make it easy. They're gonna, they want you to be able to take a step back and really think about everything in your life, like everything. Really think about where you are. Think about who's in your life. Think about who's sitting right next to you, and deeply express your appreciation and your gratitude for who they are, what they've done for you, and the fact that you have them at all. I've done that with my wife. Like, she's like been my ride or die. Like, she's stayed by my side for years through all the bullshit. I was an asshole, and like, it's taken me a while to get to a point where I'm like, I'm going to sit down and like really just think about how strong she's been to deal with my shit and express my gratitude for that. And then we have this beautiful baby, right? And it's like, your expansion of love just goes out. It just through the ceiling right? And all of a sudden, you have all of these things in your life to be grateful for. And I think that you really are what you think about most. You are. If you want to be a person who's filled with love, and you think about the fact that you're in love, you are in love with the life you live and the things you do and the people you know and you know the people that share love with you, then that's you. That's gonna be you. That's why, like Rain, like it's no surprise that these are things that you have formed a practice around, because every single time I talk to you, I feel more positive after talking. You are a full-on light being. I don't know where you come from, but like those are the types of people that just illuminate your own like inhibition to like be grateful for what you have too. They're like, shit, like, you know, through all of the stuff, like it could be so much worse, right? It could always be worse. And, you know, thanking God, thanking the designer, thanking source, whatever that is for you, whatever iteration of that is, thanking something, thanking yourself, without any sort of like, well, if I do this, I'm just going to get something back. No. Just thanking and being grateful is actually, I think it's the key to all of it. It feels like a huge unlock of more information and more downloads. You get to that step, and like don't fake it. Get to that step, and then from there, then mention I'm open to receive abundance. Like I'm open to receive because I work hard. I'm open to grow and scale and do the things that I know that I'm capable of doing because I would do them anyway. All of a sudden, energetically, things will just maybe start to align for you and point you toward like a trajectory that is going toward that anyway. It's not just going to happen in the snap of an eye. It's not just going to happen, but you know, things will maybe start to fall into place. Like these kind of synchronicities will start to just line up and be like, oh shit, like good, great. Okay. Onwards, momentum. Okay, we're gonna build on this. I've been thinking about this. I've been, you know, communicating about this. So like whatever it is. So it's a beautiful subject to touch on, and it revolves around dreams, and it revolves around everything because our dreams are the things that we shoot for, right? It's interesting that the things we want in life are kind of synonymous with the word dream, right? Like the actual things that we shoot for, the places that we try to get to, the money we try to make, the family we try to grow, like the legacy we try to leave is kind of defined by a dream. And here we are trying to define the things that unconsciously just kind of surface in our heads when we're not even awake. So I think it's a fascinating subject. I think that, Jake, I'm going to kick it to you, but then I do have a winner for our birdathon. And I think at that point, we'll probably start to wrap it up. I don't know what the outro is going to look like yet, because obviously the syncing of all the media that I put in here has been a little haphazard, but interested to see what you think about this, Jake, and then we'll announce our birdathon winner.
I so hope that the music is streaming and piped in as our outro is going in, like when we first entered, and it's just a complete Armageddon.
Crazy. I didn't have it. I had the audio muted in my headphones, so I wasn't getting an echo. And it was just going, it was just in everyone else's ears. Sorry, Berts.
You know, real quick. And Jake, you could go. But also, I do have an offer for you guys. You guys have inspired me, and I'm willing to do it. It's never been done before, but I'm willing to do it if you guys want.
I'm here.
Yes.
I'm
down.
Yes.
I don't know. I'm interested. Yes.
I had to build dramatic suspense there.
I'm on the edge of the seat. I'm on the edge of the seat that no one can see because there's a green screen behind me. But I am. I'm sitting on the edge. I will say,
you know, this space and this show, you know, has been very impactful for me. You know, I tell my fiance, I call her, guys, look, she's my wife. All right. But we're just not married yet. I'm just going to put that out there. So when I say wife, it's just fuck it. All right. I paid the bills. I put in 8 years of time. She's my wife. All right. So I'm just going to say that. I look forward to this more than anything throughout the entire week, no matter what the fuck it is. I look forward to this more than anything. And I do a lot of shit, as you guys know. I am fucking everywhere.
You're one of the busiest
exhausted.
people I know.
Dude, yeah, I mean it's all good though. But so if you guys want, and just because this has pushed me a little bit here, and I feel honored by this, and I'll leave it to you guys. You want me to do it or not? But I'm willing to share, just because this space has been such a very motivational show today, and, you know, really kind of about the wellness and kind of aspect that too. If you guys want, I'm willing to share, you know, how rain became rain.
I've been meaning to ask you about this, actually.
That story.
Yeah, I've been meaning
to ask you. If you guys want, I'll do it.
I'd be honored and would love it.
I'd be honored because I know you've been through a lot of shit, and
it's pretty unbelievable. I'll say that. All right, fuck it. I've never done this before, so fuck it. Here we go. You guys. Only my wife knows this.
I'm going on mute. I'm going on mute.
And I will say this. I want everyone to know, it might sound sad. It's going to sound probably pretty sad to most people. It's not sad for me because of what it's led me to. So I'll start with this. So, I was born, beginning the story. Rain was born in Dallas, Texas. All right. I was born in Dallas, Texas. My parents got divorced when I was 4. Okay. When my parents got divorced, my biological mom moved up to Indianapolis, Indiana. Shout out Naptown, if anybody knows what that is. It's like the most wannabe gangster city of all time, but like crime rate really isn't that bad. But you know, the city really isn't that special. I'm not gonna lie. They have like the Final Four that happens there in NCAA basketball. That's about it. So you got to keep cooking in Indianapolis. You guys need to do a lot more, and you got a mediocre football team. But yeah. So moved to Indianapolis, and basically, you know, from the age of like 4 to 8, I'm living with my grandma, living with aunts, uncles, cousins, you name it, every year, just kind of bouncing in and out, in and out, in and out. Finally, my grandma buys a house for me and my mom. Beautiful thing. Amazing. She was wealthy enough to do that, which is awesome. And she buys a house for me and my mom. My mom was a huge meth addict, just absolutely just bad, and started going in and out of prison a lot. And so when I was about 9, what ended up happening was this happened in a matter of like 3 days. Basically, my mom was never home, so I was just home alone. It wasn't a crazy house, like it was just like a standard little house, whatever. She would tell me to go try to stay at a friend's house. So every single day, because I hated being home, because my mom she mentally wasn't there because she was always high as fuck or fucked up. You know, she would physically abuse me. She would beat my ass, bro, punch the fuck out of me, dig her nails in me till I bleed, beat me with the metal part of the belt, all sorts of shit for the craziest stuff. Like if there was one fork in the sink, I'd get my ass beat. If, you know, I left the house and I didn't turn the light on outside the house before I left, get my ass beat. If I didn't polish all the wood furniture, you know, perfectly, I get my ass beat. You know, if I didn't clean behind my ears after taking a shower, get my ass beat, man. Just fucking, I'd have bruises and cuts on me all the time. So I hated being home, but I was blessed. I was very athletic. So I would always, you know, go to like in the neighborhood. Basically how it was like the poor people on the left side of the neighborhood, and then like this massive rich people expansion on the right side of the neighborhood. And so our neighborhood, you can look us up, it's called Stansbury. And then the other one was called Everwood. So they ended up calling it Poorberry, Richberry is what the kids called it. And so this happened in 3 days. I was at the park, you know, playing pickup hoops. I'm like 9 years old at the time. And a drug deal goes bad at the park with some high schoolers that were there. And my best friend gets shot. My best friend, he was my rock, the only thing I had. He got shot and he died. He bled out in my arms. And, you know, as a 9-year-old that happened to, you're just in fucking shock.
You were 9?
In shock.
When this happened?
9. Yep. And so after it happens, I don't know what to do. I run home. I sprint home. I'm just covered in blood. You know, the cops aren't even there yet. You know, Isaiah was his name. He's on the ground. He's dead. You know, I don't know how to check for a pulse or anything, but it's pretty easy to fucking tell when someone's dead. And I was scared, man. So I ran home, tried to tell my mom. My mom wasn't home. And so, you know, my mom had no money. So there's no food in the house. There's no nothing. I didn't have a cell phone. I didn't have, you know, anything I could do. So I stayed in the house and I was scared. And so I stayed in the house for 48 hours waiting for my mom to come home just for some support or something. She never came home. Finally, at like 3 a.m., since that happened on Friday, 3 a.m. on a Sunday, I hear a bang on the door. Boom, 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 boom. Walk up, open the door. Again, I'm terrified. I'm still in shock. I'm like fucking probably dying of hunger at this point or whatever the hell. And it's like 10 cops outside my house. And apparently, my mom was at a club on meth, OD'd and was in the hospital. So the cops took me and they put me in CPS. For those not from the States that don't know what that is, CPS is Child Protective Services. It's basically like the entry portal into the foster care system. So all this happens. They're trying to get in contact with all my family. So it turns out my grandma and all them moved to North Carolina. Didn't talk to my mom at all. I have no connection with my dad. So like all of a sudden, my whole family's just gone. So I end up in the foster care system. And from the age of 10 to 17, I lived in Indianapolis, Indiana, Fort Wayne, Indiana, Lansing, Michigan, Grand Rapids, Michigan, Dallas, Texas, Austin, Texas, Charleston, South Carolina, and then Charlotte, North Carolina. So basically in and out of school a bunch. I'm getting in fights with everyone constantly. I'm getting suspended from school constantly, in school suspension. Obviously, I got a lot of fucked up shit, going on. And I was just lost as a kid. And, kind of fast forward, the only thing that kept me going really was sports. And I remember even being like 11 or 12, and I would always tell myself, I'd just be alone in my room, man. And I don't even call it a fucking room. It'd be like a bunk bed with like 8 foster kids in there. Because the people are just trying to have as many of them as they can because they collect money from the government per kid. So I slept on the floor in like a fucking air mattress for like 3 years at this one home. And yeah, the foster parents were fucking terrible. But I remember I would just always cry. And every night I'd be like, man, if life is this fucking bad, there's no way it can't get better. There's no way it can't get fucking better. And so I kept that mentality. And so then my mom ended up disappeared off the face of the map. Somehow she gets in contact with the foster system and gets me back with her. So we moved to Dallas, Texas. And I didn't want to go with her because I was like, fuck me, please no. So I'm about 14 now. She lies to the foster care system, says she bought this house, whatever. Turns out it was the house of one of the random dudes that she was banging. She was basically just like a prostitute / gold digger in Dallas and would go from house to house. But she made an agreement with the guy that for $500 a month, I could live in this guy's garage. All right. And it's not a furnished garage. There's no running water in this garage. It's literally just a bare fucking garage. So I get there. We're living together. Maybe about a week, she disappears again. And I don't see her for actually, I haven't seen her since then, actually. I'm like 14 at the time. So I just start making a deal with this guy. And I'm like, fuck, dude, I'm 14. I gotta figure out how to get into this high school, so I'm walking 3 miles every day to school back and forth. I sold drugs, just weed, putting that out there, for about a year. And then I was like, I can't do this shit anymore, man. I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to end up like my mom, my family and shit. So I started grabbing broken iPhones off Craigslist and then fixing them and then stealing boxes from the Verizon store and then refactory sealing them and selling them as brand new to rich white people at a Whole Foods. It was like 5 miles away that I'd walk to just so I could make enough money to afford to live in this garage. So for 3 years, I lived in a garage on a deflated air mattress with no water, no food, no nothing. And I would live off one meal a day, which was a school lunch, which is $1.75. And I would take showers in the football locker room at the school. And and the biggest thing is I hate petty. So no one knew my situation. No one at all, nothing. By the time I was 17, I had saved up enough money. I got my own car and everything. My mom shows up again 3 years later at the fucking garage. She gets blackout drunk, takes my car that I just bought over the table illegally, right, or under the table, and she told us it crashes it at a 7-Eleven a mile away, pisses in the seat. She was blackout drunk, drinking tall natural lights or some shit. They impound the car. I obviously can't do anything about the car because I don't have insurance for the car. I don't have a title for the car. It's something I bought under the table, you know, from a guy for like $3,000, and then she ends up in jail again. So then I'm at my limit, man. I don't know what to do. Like I'm like super suicidal, man. I'm like, I have fucking tried everything. I have tried everything. I have no one, you know, I have like friends at school and shit, but like I don't know what to fucking do. And so it was about October. And again, I was blessed to be very, very good at sports. So I locked the fuck in on football. And, you know, if you're familiar with high school football season, especially in Texas, you know, you have the regular season and then October into November, the playoffs start. And so I just had a fire inside of my ass to just go ape shit. Like all I would do, literally, I started sleeping in the locker room, hiding in the locker room from the janitors, just basically living in the school, you know, because it's a big ass school with like 5,000 kids. And basically I end up, with the help of my team, of course, but we end up making it to the semi-state finals, which is a very big deal in Texas high school football. And lo and behold, it makes news, national news like this, because we were a really shitty school, really shitty ghetto ass school, you know, in the middle of the hood in Dallas, that we made it to the fucking semi-state finals. So we're playing at AT&T Stadium where the Dallas Cowboys play. It makes national news. And my grandpa's ex-wife sees this and is like, oh my God, I wonder how he's doing. I have to go see him. I have to go watch this game. So she comes to semi-state finals game. I have the performance of a fucking lifetime. We lose on like a last second field goal, and I'm destroyed. You know, like I'm getting a shit ton of college offers at the wazoo, but you know, I can't afford anything. I can't even afford to get to the fucking college or wherever it is or any of that shit. And so after the game, my grandpa's ex-wife, so I guess step-grandma, you could call it, talks to the coach, and the coach brings her to me. And she sees me, and she's so happy, gives me a huge hug, tell me how much she's loving me. And she's like, surprised, I wanted to see you. Tell me how you're doing, how you been. She's like, you know, how's your mom? Like, let's go to your house. Let's have a dinner. And I'm like, I don't know what to fucking do. I'm like, you know, my mom's not really around. She's like, well, where do you live? And I was like, I mean, and she's like, no, just get in the car. You know, we'll go to your house, and, you know, then we'll go out to dinner and stuff so you can change, shower, and all that. So I'm just like, fuck it, dude. I guess we're going to the garage. So drive there, we go to the garage. And she's like, why, like, do you just live out here and or like stay out here? It's like your man cave. And then like the house where you stay. I'm like, no. I'm like, this is a garage that I pay $500 a month to a guy my mom was gold digging on. And there's nothing else in it. There's not just a deflated air mattress and piles of clothes on a concrete floor. And she starts, you know, just bawling her eyes out. And she's like, basically, so asked me to tell her everything. So I tell her everything. And then, you know, she gets me groceries for the week, whatever. And she goes, I have to head back for work. Gets me a phone. And she's like, I will call you in a week. And I'm like, okay, you know, and based on my experience and stuff, I'm like, well, man, like, you know, whatever. I'll probably never talk to her again, whatever the fuck happens. And this is where it gets crazy. So what ends up happening a week later, I get a call from her. She says, pack your bags, everything you own. And she's very wealthy, just to put this out there, very wealthy. She goes, I have a private limo coming to pick you up. It's going to take you to the airport, and you're going to spend Christmas with us. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, oh my God, yes, please. So get in this limo, get on this plane. I'm flying first class. I don't even fucking know what's going on. First time on a plane, I'm on first class. It's the craziest shit of my life. Get off the plane. She's there to pick me up. We go to her house, this big, beautiful house, you know, and Christmas, I get there like Christmas at midnight, whatever. And, you know, they stayed up, her and her new boyfriend and her son, they all stay up, and we have this big family meal and everything. And I started like bawling my eyes out, man. Cause it's like, I never had like a family meal, you know, just sitting at the table and having a family meal with people. And, you know, she was like, what's wrong? What's wrong? And I was like, I'm so happy. And so I stayed there for a week, and she's like, so, you know, your plane ticket is today, you know, do you want to go back? And, you know, I didn't want to feel like a burden or anything. So I was like, I mean, I really don't want to go back, but, you know, if I have to, like, I understand, like, it's all good. And she goes, well, that's why I'm asking you this, because how would you feel about, you know, living with us, being part of our family? And I was just like, oh my God, please. Thank you. Thank you. And so I ended up moving there. She was able to adopt me like a month before I turned 18. And then after I was adopted, went to my senior year, high school football, balled the fuck out, got a ton of scholarships, all that shit. And then just absolutely dominated in football, got a bunch of offers, all that stuff. And it just put my life in the right track. But so the full circle of the story and motivation for people that I want to say out there is that, you know, like, people, based on my experience and what I've achieved and what I've done, no one but, like, I'm only 28, you know, this is only 11 years ago. About to be 29. But as I got older, right, I realized that, like, my hardships and everything I went through basically is what made me like one of the most optimistic people on earth.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter how shitty a day is, doesn't matter what the fuck happens, whatever. I will always find something to be happy and be grateful for, and always believe that I can turn it around. And so I guess the full circle story of this is that, you know, no matter what, because people always say it and you hear it, but I've lived it, I've done it. No matter what you're going through, no matter how long it takes, no matter how long you got to live in hell, man, you're eventually, it's going to get better. It's going to get better. And you just got to fucking believe it with every part of your soul. You got to hustle. You got to grind. You got to bleed. You got to put in sweat, put in tears. You got to put your heart on the fucking table. Let that bitch get destroyed and mashed to bits. And you got to pick it up, tape it back together, and you can still fucking do whatever you believe in. So as far as dreams, I believe I'm living my dream. I've had this dream of success for such a long time. And, you know, there were a lot of times thought about giving up, and I'm happy I never did. So that's the Rain story. I know it's a bit long, but first time I've ever shared it publicly. So I hope it helps at least one person out there, man. But yeah, that's why Rain's Rain, man. That's why Rain's Rain.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you, Rain.
That's
well,
one
you
of,
already touched two
that's
people.
one of the most epic
And
stories
I know
I've
you
ever
touched
heard.
hundreds more.
Unreal. Holy shit.
You're a blessing, man.
Yeah, man.
You're a walking miracle.
I know.
I know you know it.
No, I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I don't want anyone to be sad or anything too, because, like, you know, but it's hard not to, like, probably feel sad. I bet. Like, now that I think about it, like, actually saying it all out loud for the first time publicly, it's pretty fucked up. It's definitely pretty fucked up, but I'm grateful, man. And it led me to the Birds. Led me to becoming a Bird. So all happens for a reason.
Yeah, man.
I guess.
Yeah, go ahead, Jake.
You know, something. Yeah. I'll just say a few things and then hand to you, Eric, to, you know, close out and, you know, really connect with what there's so much here, right? There's just so much here. And Rain, this is for you, you know, in response is our topic today, which has infinite topics really, or subtopics, is dreams. You know, and I was curious myself, before you started sharing your story, I was curious, what's the etymology of the word dream? Etymology is the origin of words, where they came from, what they mean, how were they invented? And I highly encourage anyone that's listening still, even on this call, is, you know, what are the words that we are expressing? There's more in meaning to those words and where they came from. English is a very porous language. Where did they come from? What did our ancestors use these words for? You know, that's their true intent of meaning, is how they were formed. So I was looking at the etymology of dream. And it's Old English from an Old Norse and Old Romantic, but the shared origins are joy, music, and hope. Those three. And I was going to share something different in the application of the word dream, which we already talked about a little earlier before you joined the call, that are we actually living the dream state versus when we dream, are we actually in the awake state? But what's more important to me right now is that you are a walking dream. You are a walking, talking dream of joy, of music. Eric mentioned it too. You're just a joy of light. And he feels it. I feel it. I know there's people out there listening, watching that feel it. They just know you. You're Rain. Hell, you're Rain. And you dodge lightning bolts. I don't know. Rain, the dodger of lightning bolts, first of his name, right?
Been dodging lightning
your
since he's
time,
9.
Yeah. Your time is infinite. Even though all we have is now, it's infinite. And thank you for sharing such a deep story that will profoundly impact the lives of many, because you have lived it already. So that's all I have. I know we're a little bit over, but Rain, it was absolutely worth it. I love you, brother. Love you, Eric. This is an awesome show. This is exactly what I think we do, why we do it, why we're here. Onwards and upwards.
That's why we're going to video,
Thank you.
baby. Yeah.
Thank you.
Incredible, man. Incredible. It really puts things into perspective. Like, really puts things into perspective. Yeah, dude. Fuck. Yeah.
No, it's all good. It's
No,
all good.
it's just a really powerful story, man. Like, it's a really powerful story. And I think that more often than not, like, the people in my life who have gone through some of the hardest shit have affected me the most deeply and helped me, like, really grow and kind of like put things in perspective. Like, they kind of just, like, whenever you're thinking about things or complaining about things, like, fuck, it could be worse. And, like, that type of detail, like, that type of reality, that type of, like, real shit that you went through, like, you can't make that up. Like, you cannot make that up. Like, the order of events, the way that things went down, the constant fucking, like, just friction, crazy amounts of friction. Just really powerful. And I'm really grateful that you feel comfortable enough to share that on here. And I think that, yeah, like, the whole concept of a dream, the whole concept of, like, how life relates to dreams, like, I just know when you say you're grateful for what you have, you fucking mean it. You mean it. Because that seeps through the cracks in a heartbeat. So I appreciate you. And I think that this is maybe a good place to start our sign off for episode 25. We have a Birdathon winner. Prince Blog is our Birdathon winner. His entry was, he said, okay, so hear me out for a bit. A total reverse, you may ask? Our real life is a coma-induced hallucination, and dreams are your occasional moments of lucidity when you remember who you really are. Waking up, that's you falling asleep. That means you dream is your soul rebelling against the prison of your current false self. This can be seen from the movie Waking Life, where dream and reality are inseparable. So, good entry, Prince. That kind of got me thinking, and I think was a really good precedent to set for this conversation, and it helped us kind of weave and go in all different sorts of directions. So you won the Birdathon for today. You won the first live streamed Birdathon ever. So you're an epic bird. It's good to see you back, Prince. And I'll get you in the DM. But other than that, I didn't have anything else. I think, this is such an interesting and feels like a more intimate setting to, like, have this show. I feel like we've always been, I think, pushing toward this, but it's a relief to get to this point. So for all of the 276 viewers that have stopped in and listened to us, we appreciate you too. I'm looking over at the chat, and it looks like a lot of the Berts really appreciated just the candidness and the openness and the humility that we bring to the table, and we're going to keep doing it because these shows have become so much more than just a project hype train. Like this is a pillar, I think, of what Who is Ebert is, and I think it will continue to be. So thank you, everybody, for joining. This is Rain, Eric, and Jake signing out from the first live stream of Space from the Deep. We will see you on the next episode. See you, everybody.
Transmitting live from the edge of the unknown. This is Space from the Deep. With your cosmic guides. Ebert, Jake Wave, and Rain Raps. Explorers of origin, purpose, and everything in between.